Okay, so welcome to another deep dive. One thing that really gets to me about the IELTS is that speaking test, and specifically part one. Like you walk in, you sit down, and boom, it's all about how you handle those initial conversational questions. It can really make or break your score, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like a first impression, right? You've got to show the examiner what you're capable of, even in those short answers.
Right, and that's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to be comparing different answers to common IELTS speaking part one questions and seeing how they stack up against those band scores.
Yeah, because let's be honest, those band descriptors can be a bit vague sometimes. We're going to give you concrete examples from band 5 all the way to band 9. That way you can really see what sets them apart, linguistically speaking.
Exactly. And we've picked three questions that almost everyone gets asked. What is your hometown like? Do you work or study?
Yeah.
And what do you like to do in your free time? Simple stuff, but the way you answer can make all the difference.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Okay, so let's start with that hometown question. We've got a band 5 answer here. My hometown is small. There are many trees and few buildings. I like it because it is quiet. I live with my family.
Well, I mean, it answers the question. But as an IELTS expert, I'm not seeing a lot of depth here.
Hmm.
It's very basic, right? Simple vocabulary, short sentences. It doesn't really paint a picture of the place, does it?
No, not really. It's like a very rough sketch, just the bare minimum. You're absolutely right. The vocabulary is super basic, and the sentences are really simple. Now, contrast that with this band 6 answer. My hometown is a small city with a mix of old and modern buildings. I enjoy the peaceful environment, but sometimes I feel there is not much to do.
Okay, so already it feels a bit more descriptive, right? We're getting a slightly better sense of the place with that mix of old and modern buildings. And they've attempted to give a bit of a contrasting opinion there.
Yeah, exactly. There's an effort to add a little complexity. It's still simple language, but there's that but clause, showing they can express more than one simple idea. Okay, now jump up to band 7. I come from a quaint town that offers a charming blend of historic architecture and modern amenities. Although it is relatively small, there's always something happening, and I appreciate the close-knit community.
Wow, okay. The vocabulary here is so much more interesting, like quaint, charming blend, historic architecture. That instantly creates a much more vivid image in my mind.
Right. You see how the vocabulary instantly elevates the response. Plus, they're using more complex sentence structures. That, although, shows they can connect ideas in a more sophisticated way. And they've given us some implicit examples, like those historic buildings and amenities.
Exactly. Now let's see what a Band 8 response sounds like.
My hometown is a delightful blend of traditional culture and modern innovation. It has a rich history, beautiful parks, and a vibrant local scene, making it a truly unique place to grow up. Now, this is getting good. The vocabulary is really precise and evocative. Delightful blend, traditional culture, vibrant local scene. It's all very specific and engaging. And it flows so naturally, right?
Yeah, it feels very effortless. They're using those descriptive words really effectively to create a strong impression of their hometown. This is what you want to aim for, folks. Detailed, fluent, and engaging. Okay, ready for Band 9?
Hit me with it.
All right. I hail from a picturesque town that exquisitely balances its deep-rooted traditions with progressive modernity. The harmonious blend of historic landmarks, verdant parks, and lively cultural festivals creates an atmosphere that is both invigorating and comforting. I feel incredibly fortunate to have grown up in such an inspiring environment.
Whoa, that's impressive.
Right. It's like poetry almost.
Yeah, the language is super sophisticated, but it doesn't sound forced. Like picturesque town, exquisitely balances, verdant parks, harmonious blend. They're using these complex words with total ease and accuracy.
And they're not just listing things. They're explaining how these features make the town unique and why they feel fortunate to have grown up there. It's nuanced and thoughtful, which is exactly what you need for a Band 9.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've seen these 5 answers side by side, and as language experts, what key differences do you notice?
Well, the vocabulary obviously gets more sophisticated and precise as the band scores go up. But it's not just about using big words. It's about choosing the right words to create specific images and convey your ideas clearly.
Totally. And the sentence structures become more complex, too. We see more variety, more use of linking words, and a smoother, more natural flow to the language.
Right, and the level of detail increases. The higher band answers give us more information, more examples, and a deeper sense of the person's connection to their hometown.
Exactly. They're not just answering the question, they're engaging with it, expressing their opinions, and painting a vivid picture for the listener. And that's what sets those top scoring answers apart.
Okay, let's move on to our next question. Do you work or study? We'll start with the Band 5 response. I work. I work in an office. It is okay.
Ouch. Short and sweet, but definitely not what we're looking for in a high-scoring answer.
Yeah, it technically answers the question, but it doesn't really tell us anything. It's like, okay, you work, but what do you do? Where do you work? What's it like? There's no substance there.
Exactly. Now, look at this Band 6 response. I work as a clerk in an office. I enjoy some parts of my job, but it can be a bit tiring sometimes.
Okay, so we're getting a bit more information now, right? At least we know what kind of work they do. And there's that but clause again, showing they can express a contrasting view.
Yeah, it's a small step up, still pretty basic language, but there's a bit more detail and an attempt to give a personal opinion. Now let's jump to Band 7. I'm currently employed as a marketing assistant in a mid-sized firm. I find my job engaging, especially when I get to work on creative projects, though the administrative tasks can be a bit mundane.
All right, now we're talking. The vocabulary is much better here. Words like employed, marketing assistant, engaging, mundane. It feels more professional.
Right, and they're explaining what they like and dislike about their job, which is a good way to show you can go beyond just stating facts.
Yeah, they're giving reasons and examples, which makes it more interesting and convincing. Okay, let's hear a Band 8 response. I work in the field of digital marketing, where I manage social media campaigns and content strategies for a mid-sized company. I find the role both challenging and rewarding as it allows me to blend creativity with analytical thinking.
Now we're getting into the specifics. They're using industry-specific vocabulary, talking about digital marketing, social media campaigns, and content strategies, and they're explaining why they find the role challenging and rewarding.
Yes, it's clear, concise, and they're demonstrating a real understanding of their field. This is what you want to aim for, folks. Okay, ready for the Band 9 answer?
Bring it on.
I am a digital marketing specialist at a dynamic firm, responsible for orchestrating multifaceted social media and content strategies that not only drive engagement, but also foster a strong brand identity. My role is both demanding and immensely satisfying as it continually pushes me to innovate and refine my skills.
Wow, that's a mouthful, but a very impressive mouthful, I have to say.
Right. It's super sophisticated, but it doesn't sound unnatural or forced. They're using complex language with ease and fluency, talking about orchestrating multifaceted strategies, driving engagement, and fostering brand identity.
And they're reflecting on the impact of their work on their own personal development, which shows a really deep level of engagement and self-awareness. This is what mastery of the language looks like in an IELTS context.
Absolutely. So as language experts, what are the key takeaways from these work or study answers?
Well, just like with the hometown question, we see a clear progression in terms of vocabulary, sentence structure, and level of detail. As the band scores go up, the answers become more specific, more nuanced, and more engaging.
Right. The higher scoring candidates use more precise language, they explain their opinions and experiences more fully, and they demonstrate a greater understanding of their field of work or study.
Exactly. They're showing the examiner that they can communicate effectively and confidently, even in a relatively short answer.
Okay, let's move on to our final question for today. What do you like to do in your free time? We'll start with the Band 5 response. I like to watch TV and sometimes go out with friends. I also like to read a little bit.
Pretty standard stuff, but again, it's very basic, very surface level.
Yeah, it's just a list of activities with no real detail or explanation. It's like, okay, you like to watch TV, but what do you watch? Why do you enjoy it? Tell me more.
Exactly. Now, compare that with this Band 6 answer. In my free time, I usually watch movies, read books, and sometimes go for walks. It helps me relax.
Okay, so we've got a slightly longer list of activities here, and they've added a reason for doing them. Relaxation. It's a small step, but it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah, it shows they're starting to think beyond just listing things. They're making a connection between their hobbies and their well-being. Still pretty simple language, but it's a little more meaningful. Now, jump up to Band 7. I enjoy a variety of leisure activities in my free time, such as reading, watching films, and occasionally going on hikes. These activities help me unwind and stay refreshed.
All right, the vocabulary is getting more interesting here. We've got leisure activities, unwind, refreshed, And they're using such as to introduce their examples, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, it feels more organized and deliberate, and they're explaining how these activities benefit them, which is important. Now, let's see what a Band 8 response sounds like. In my leisure time, I love to immerse myself in a good book, catch the latest films, and take long, reflective walks in nature, which help me rejuvenate and find inspiration.
Wow, okay. This answer paints a picture, doesn't it?
Yes.
I can really see them getting lost in a book, enjoying a movie, or walking in nature.
Right. It's so much more vivid and descriptive than those lower band answers. They're using language to create an experience for the listener. And that's what you want to do, especially at the higher band levels.
Exactly. Okay, ready for Band 9.
Hit me with it.
During my free time, I relish the opportunity to engage in diverse activities that stimulate both my mind and body. I often find solace in literature, enjoy exploring contemporary cinema, and savor long, contemplative walks in nature, all of which contribute to a balanced and fulfilling lifestyle.
Whoa, that's eloquent.
Right. The language is so rich and sophisticated, but it flows effortlessly. It's like listening to a well-written essay.
Yeah, they're using some really interesting vocabulary like relish, solace, contemplative, and they're making a connection between their hobbies and their overall sense of well-being, which is a really nice touch.
Absolutely. So, what are our final takeaways as language experts looking at these free time answers?
I think the biggest takeaway is that it's not enough to just list your hobbies. You need to go deeper, you need to explain why you enjoy them, and you need to use descriptive language to bring those activities to life.
Right. The higher the band score, the more descriptive and nuanced the language becomes.
Yeah.
They're not just answering the question. They're telling a story, they're expressing their personality, and they're showcasing their command of the English language.
Exactly. It's about going beyond the surface and really engaging with the question in a thoughtful and articulate way.
Well, there you have it, folks. That's our deep dive into IELTS Speaking Part 1 answers. Hopefully you've gained some valuable insights into what examiners are looking for and how you can improve your own responses.
Yeah, remember, even those short answers can make a big difference in your overall score. So practice those speaking skills, focus on using rich and descriptive language, and show the examiner what you're capable of.
Exactly. And one last thing to think about. As you prepare for your IELTS speaking test, try to approach it not just as an exam, but as an opportunity to share your thoughts, your experiences, and your personality with the examiner. The more genuine and engaging you are, the more confident and fluent you'll sound.
Couldn't agree more. Good luck.
Good luck.